Ciao ragazzi, adesso studiamo I pronomi indiretti, indirect object pronouns. These are called object pronouns and they are indirect, so please, however, don't get confused. These rarely have to do with objects, they normally have to do with people, okay? They answer the question, to whom or for whom. To whom or for whom. So you have what I call a beneficiary. So I give the book is the object of the sentence, to Maria. So this is where it makes sense to me that they are indirect, because between the verb and this, there could be an object in between. You normally have a preposition, which is to or for. In Italiano, a or per. Okay, so they're indirect. You don't go directly from the verb to this word. You usually have this little door. Okay, you have to go through a or per. Okay, so these are the indirect object pronoun, normally for people. Okay, it could be, you might have your odd sentence. Okay, it could be an institution, for example, but for the most part, you're dealing with people, and you will be dealing with the prepositions a and per. When you use the indirect object pronoun, it takes care of a and per. These will be eliminated. Okay, so let's see the list of indirect object pronouns. These pronouns are very similar to the direct object pronouns. The top four, for example, mi, ti, ci, vi, are the same. This is where it gets tricky, and I really would notice if you didn't know which list you were going to be taking your pronoun from. Okay, so gli, me. So basically this is not that we want to translate, but it does help you. To me or for me, to you or for you, to or for him, to or for her, to or for us, to or for y'all, to or for them. Okay, so here you see gli for boys, singular boy, girl. Boys and girls is gli. Okay, either if it's a lot of boys, a lot of girls, a mix, it's always gli. Okay, all of these, mi, ti, gli, le, ci, vi, gli, have the usual location, okay, which is in front of the verb, unless you have an infinitive, and in that case, they go attached to the end of the infinitive that drops the e. There's only a tiny exception here, and you absolutely don't have to learn this, but I like to tell you because this is the nicest version. If you did want to use loro, which is the more classical version, you can just simply put this after the verb. My theory is because this was a bit different and a little complicated, people stopped using it, and gli became the new correct version. So this is just for your information. Io scrivo la lettera a Luisa. You eliminate a and Luisa, and you will now have your new sentence. Io le scrivo la lettera. The coolest thing about this is that you have no issues in the past. You want to remember that the verb piacere deals with the indirect object pronoun. So something is pleasing to someone. Okay, but we're not doing piacere today, but just please remember that. And as I was saying, you usually have a, which means to, or per, which means for, plus a person. Va bene? And there are no issues in the past. In general, it is fair to say that we use these pronouns mostly with verbs of giving and written and spoken communication, which all support a or per. A is the one we use the most. And don't forget about piacere. So this is my main list of verbs that will be very useful for you to know in this context. Dare, to give. Prestare, to loan. Offrire, to offer. Mandare, to send in any way. While spedire, which I didn't write here, spedire is more to send in a sense of shipping, and it's an isk verb. Restituire, to return, like to return an object. Something was returned to me, but I don't return home using the same verb. That would be ritornare. Restituire is to give back. Regalare, to give as a gift. Portare, to bring. Verbs of written or spoken communication. Dire, to say. Parlare, to talk. Domandare, to ask a question specifically. Chiedere, to ask. Rispondere, to answer, respond. Telefonare, to telephone. You guys usually have to tell, I telephone my mom with no preposition. We say I telephone to my mom because it's a verb of communication. Scrivere, to write. Insegnare, to teach. Spiegare, to explain. Consigliare is to give advice. So I advise to do something. Io consiglio di studiare, per esempio. Io ti consiglio di studiare. I advise you to study. Va bene? That was a very good sentence. I hope this helped. Don't forget, piacere is in this list, although it somewhat doesn't match here, and there is no agreement in the past as far as the indirect object pronouns. Spero che questo vi abbia aiutato e questi erano i pronomi indiretti.